I turned down delivering a speech to a YouTube channel with 40 million subscribers. Now, I'm going to get into the why. I'll deliver the speech first, but I just want to give some highlights right now. First of all, I'm fucking pissed. You can't ask somebody to deliver a speech on how they saved their marriage, their toxic, their sexless marriage. By the way, I was super abusive to my wife, emotionally, physically, sexually assaulting my wife. I'm not proud of that man, but I am proud of the man I am today. And the reason I was invited to speak is because some of my content goes super viral because I've come up with new ways to save marriage. I'm breaking away from society's examples, and this particular YouTube channel wanted me to bring those new ideas and deliver them on a speech for determination, using determination as the theme. And they wanted me to show them with all kinds of validation and proof from society. Here's the problem: if society's solutions to save marriages worked, divorce rates would not be fucking rampant. Divorce rates would not be the normal. Justification about why you should quit would not be the absolute norm everywhere you go. So I'm going to get into this speech, and then I'm going to break into what I believe they wanted when they emailed me and said, follow the contract. We want more of this. We want more of that. And why a man with my integrity, I could not follow through on delivering that speech. I retracted, I withdrew because I'm full of integrity, and I cannot let more people follow the same path because my purpose, my wife and my purpose, is to flip divorce statistics. Let's get into the speech. People tell me I'm lucky, and I'm not. I just know how to be successful. Health, wealth, and relationships, the big three. Most of the elite, the 1%, they don't even have all three. Only a handful get their marriages right, their business or their career to the level they dreamed, and have their health in check. And even when you're getting the right information, following the right people, hiring the right coaches, most people will fail in at least one of these areas. You see, society's examples, cliches, and conventional strategies are holding you back. I'm Morrow. My wife and I, we have the dream marriage, a beautiful family, multiple businesses, and our health. When people see the way that my wife and I look at each other, the way we interact with each other, they want that. You see, people crave their partner to feel for them in the way that Catherine and I feel for each other. Adoration, affection, love, respect, lust, lifting each other up. They want the same sense of pride for their marriage, for their family, that Catherine and I share. We talk to people all around the world who want a new marriage, the one that defies society's examples. These same examples are the reasons that you are not as successful as you can be. But it wasn't always this way for Catherine and me. You hear about bad seasons? Catherine and I came back from the depths of hell in our marriage. Actually, we saved our marriage while suffering like so many other business owners did, losing their whole life during the pandemic. Prior to that, our marriage was as toxic as you can imagine. And I'm not proud of the next thing I'm going to share with you. In sharing our story to inspire marriages around the world, I've been able to release the shame, the guilt about who I was as a man in the past. I used to be a terrible husband, controlling, manipulative, and very abusive towards my wife, emotionally, physically, sexually, and we fought daily for our first 4 years of our marriage. I would go on 3-day-long or week-long anger binges, lecturing my wife about why I was so great and why she was not. Over 4 years, we separated 7 times. I destroyed our house, the furniture, 20, 30 times. And worst of all, I completely destroyed Catherine's character as a wife, a stepmother, a woman, and a person. You could say divorce was a pretty hot topic. Now, by now you might be thinking, this guy's nuts. If my wife is still with me, I must be lucky. But luck had nothing to do with it. Love is not all you need. It did not take two. Communication was not key. And marriage is not hard work. None of the things society teaches you are real. But unsuccessful people believe them and convince you that these are facts. Just look at divorce rates and the now normalized justification for families being torn apart every day. The acceptance of dishonoring a commitment or failure is now normal. And it's the same in business and in health. I remember being thrilled about a 16-week court-mandated anger management program. It may have been forced on me, but I embraced it. I had been angry my whole life. My parents paved the first 2.5 decades of my adult life with their example, and I was at a fork in the road. Catherine, or repeat my cycle. Now, this is a downplayed cliche. We're not repeating cycles. They get worse with every rotation. I was not perfect by now, but we were fighting every 3 days, and I got excited when I clicked. I began to feel what happiness feels like. I said to Catherine, "Baby, this is amazing. We're only fighting every 3 days." To which she walked over to me, she leaned in and said, "Honey, that's not normal." You see, I still had no idea how to really fix our marriage, to be successful, but I was recognizing joy. But Catherine thought it was all fake and worried that I was only hiding my anger to keep myself out of jail or changing for her, which would not be real. So much for fake it till you make it. I remember being very frustrated. She told me if I had stopped yelling, she would be happy. If I stopped yelling, she would want me more. So much for the hundreds of thousands of comments from people on my social media saying, "Just listen to your partner." The next 2 years of our marriage were a roller coaster. The highs got lower and the lows became intolerable. We'd replaced all love, validation, respect with defensiveness, blame, stonewalling, and contempt. Love is not all you need. We were reactively abusive towards each other, often proactively destroying any opportunity of forward momentum each and every day. And then we had the twins on the way. Time to get our act together. Now, I didn't know it at the time, but Catherine was already completely checked out from our marriage. I was actually oblivious to this. I was in my own world. Like many of you, I was sitting in my pain, and Catherine was hiding from hers. She was doing her best to be, quote unquote, a good Christian wife, serving and submitting to her husband. Job sex. Catherine was also terrified of losing her children 50% of the time to me. Soon after we lost our nearly 7-figure gym, now bleeding out during the pandemic, we lost our home, our cars, everything. And soon after that, we were evicted from the condo we were renting. Money was clearly a problem, and by now, health was deteriorating rapidly. But Catherine and I were rising. We weren't perfect, but we were on our way. We needed to rebuild our life, and especially the rest of it. And that's just what we did. During the devastating loss of our livelihood, our life, we created a new life. We saved our marriage, we brought 2 beautiful girls into the world, and 2 years later, our son. And they've never seen the damage that Catherine and I were capable of. The secret is simple. Your determination to succeed is distorted and setting you up for failure. When you finally hit rock bottom, you are typically ready to break away from Einstein's definition of insanity. Stop doing the same things over and over, expecting different results. Now, of course, I believe in both of these, but they do not deliver real determination. If this is all it took, I would have solved the issues back in my anger days, and everyone in the world would live happily ever after. Businesses would be booming, and we'd be looking like Olympic athletes everywhere. When you realize this, you're ready to step outside of your comfort zone. You will struggle. Your determination is what will drive you. But this only works when you stop blaming your partner for their inability to communicate, and you learn to control your anxiety when you are defensive. In your business, accept that it's not always your lead quality. You may need to adapt your product, your service, your price point for your consumer. I'm not saying you shouldn't work on your marriage with your partner. Hire a coach. Find an accountability buddy. But first, be determined to take accountability for you. Like AA sponsorship, if you don't pick up the phone, use the tools, ask for help, you will still fail. Accountability is phenomenal when you don't need to rely on it to win. Unless you're determined to learn the skills to hold yourself accountable, taking responsibility for you, you will not succeed. So it does not take two. By now, you're likely to struggle with consistency. You're frustrated that your partner doesn't believe your changes, or that coach didn't understand your business well enough to make a plan that worked for you. You must have something wrong medically preventing your weight loss. So you get sucked into the emotional failure that most of us were taught. Most of our parents, good or bad, shared this quality. Stop crying. You don't need to be afraid. Go to sleep. Stop screaming, or I'll send you to your room. Unless you've taken responsibility for your inability to understand your emotions, your feelings, you start falling into the communication is key trap. You end up lecturing your partner on all of their faults as you puke your feelings all over them. You go through coaches or agencies like marketplace pickups in hopes for the answer for your business. You try fad diet after fad diet, determined to succeed. But your determination turns to distraction. You read every book you can get your hands on, podcasts, courses, coaches, mentors, just to motivate you enough to feel determined again. But you're borrowing it from the outside world. If my partner doesn't reject me tonight, then I know I'm doing a good job. When I pick up more clients than usual in a week, I know I'm working hard. When I did more burpees than the rest of the class, I know I'm awesome. It's no longer about the end game or the goal. When you look in the mirror, you're only determined to feel good enough and to prove that you are. By now, your determination has become so distorted, you don't even begin to truly implement the skills that you've been acquiring. Even if you've acquired the skills to stop being defensive with your partner, scale your business, or get in shape, you begin to question if you're even doing what you're supposed to do. In this place, your determination flips and you're determined to victimize yourself. Your partner, your coach, your trainer, they're not doing what they're supposed to do. It's not reciprocal. They aren't fulfilling their end of the bargain. And I know I'm successful in these other areas, so it must be their fault for this one. You're unknowingly determined to destroy your success. You sabotage yourself. Now, this will depend on the relationship. If it's your partner, you might not let them sleep, dumping all their faults on them and not letting them sleep. Don't go to bed angry, right? In business, you might fire your employee or angrily change their role, feeding your frustrations. With your health, you fall off the wagon. The acceptable cheat meal turns into days, weeks. You're not working out and you're drinking again. You underestimate determination because you don't know how to use it. Determination is broken down into two key components. The first, firmness of purpose. Understand the objective, the goal, the outcome you are trying to achieve. If at any point that you don't want to give up, if at any point you want to give up, or worse, repeat your negative patterns and cycles, structure yourself to move in the direction you want to go. If it's with your partner and they're constantly bringing up the past, give them no reason to. Remember when I said Catherine said, if you stop yelling, I'd be happy. Don't do what society tells you, and yes, you should listen to your partner. But if I continued to listen to Catherine's structure here, I was replacing yelling with not yelling. Using determination to reach the end goal, I now replace yelling with fun, excitement, talking, laughing, dreaming, achieving. If it's your business and your objective is higher quality leads, get good at copywriting and targeting your avatar. If it's your health, you're not reaching your goals, change one thing at a time, not the whole plan. No matter what, keep your objective in mind. Implement actionable steps that take you to your goal, rather than solutions that are supposed to deliver the goal. This is the second part of determination, the process of establishing something exactly by calculation or research. Do the work, follow through. I didn't learn the skills I needed to save my marriage by reading and implementing books, taking courses, getting certifications, hiring coaches. I took everything I learned from all of it, put them all together into a system that works. A repeatable, step-by-step, actionable process leading to the purpose and staying true to it. Determination is a positive emotional feeling that promotes perseverance towards a difficult goal in spite of obstacles. In other words, keeping your end goal in mind, chase the feelings you want. Simplify the steps to win by limiting negative distractions. Earlier I said it's not hard work. The truth is, all of this has been a lot of work. Saving our marriage, rebuilding our financial freedom, regaining control over our health. It was a lot. But we did not achieve any of it by chasing negative emotional anchors. If the end goal is when it's not work and you have the systems in place, moving you forward, joy and happiness along the way, does that sound like hard work? It's all in your head. Go get your life. Now, I had about a 45-minute chat with the host, and it was clear. She wanted to know all about my narcissism. She wanted to know all about my toxicity, and I'm pretty darn sure, this part's a little unclear, a little vague, but I'm pretty darn sure she wanted my wife to be my savior. Now, here's the thing. I like the idea of delivering a speech on determination because I was determined. It is hard when your wife doesn't trust you. It is hard when your wife doesn't believe you. And this would go vice versa, guys. My wife would work with the opposite. She works with the wives. Of course, it's impossibly hard and difficult when you want to save your marriage and there's this underlying pain, suffering, and trauma in the marriage. But if you want more, if you want truth, yes, my wife was the guiding light, i.e., the catalyst, the idea of what I could have. She definitely was inspiration. But without my determination, there would be no marriage to save. That doesn't mean my wife wasn't determined. In fact, she believes a lot of the stuff that I've said in the speech here. But the bottom line is, I couldn't support it with society examples because they're not real. They're not real at all. Communication is not key. Love is not all you need. Well, you heard it. You saw everything. So listen, if you don't want to end up like a divorce statistic, like the normal, you can't save a toxic or abusive or a troublesome marriage, going through a bad season, doing what everybody else has told you to do. Therapy doesn't work. We've seen therapy for years. It's not changing. Divorce is getting worse, becoming rampant. Millennials not even engaging in relationships now. There are massive problems here. So if you want more, subscribe, follow the advice that we give, that we are going to share with you over and over again, hitting it home that the normal will not work. If you want more, share it, give more, get more people on board. This is a problem, and we're going to change it. Just because they're popular doesn't mean they're right. They wanted something that proves society's examples work. Well, then don't ask for new ideas, because those ideas, they didn't work to save my marriage, and we were as bad as it gets. So what would make you think they'd work for yours? On that note, why are you quitting? If we could come back from the depths of hell, then what are you doing quitting? You just haven't found the right answer. If you want a new marriage, subscribe, learn, follow, and share every bit of advice we have to give, because it's working. It's working on a global scale. I think we're in 13 countries now. So get up, get moving, and go get your life.